6 real-life stories with unpredictable twists and turns. I knew a couple who couldn't conceive and couldn't afford artificial insemination. They had a neighbor who already had 3 children. So, the husband approached the neighbor and asked if he would impregnate his wife for a smaller fee because they really wanted a child. The neighbor agreed. Months passed, but there was no pregnancy. Eventually, the husband got tested and discovered he was infertile. At that point, the neighbor's wife had to confess that she had cheated on him, and the 3 kids weren't actually his. Afterward, the husband who wanted his wife to get pregnant ended up suing the neighbor for breach of contract. I'm not sure what happened after that. My brother's wife's dad died in the car park of a Tesco supermarket. The family was informed, and when they arrived, they were met by another family he had. The strange thing was that his other wife had 3 daughters, just like my sister-in-law's family, and they all had the exact same names, including their last names. They think he did this to avoid slipping up on the kids' names. At the funeral, it was quite surreal. There were 2 of everyone. I met a guy online a few years ago, and we started hanging out and became good friends. In 2016, he received a Facebook message from a young man claiming to be his son. The young man provided his mother's name and some other information as proof. My friend showed me the young man's Facebook page, and there was a picture of his mother, who looked very familiar to me. I checked her profile, and sure enough, it was the older sister of my best friend from high school. She had a child when she was 16, and he lived with my best friend for a couple of years. I used to babysit him quite a bit. In fact, I have about half a dozen photos of me with him when he was a baby. When I was in college, one of my friends had this amusing habit of following you just at the edge of your peripheral vision to see how long it took for you to notice he was there. He caught me off guard about half a dozen times. One day, I finally noticed him lurking behind me and decided to turn the tables. As we walked past some bushes, I waited for the right moment, then turned and shoved him as hard as I could into the bush. Only, it wasn't him. It was just some other guy with the same hair color, style, and body type. I ended up shoving a complete stranger into the bushes. I taunted my little sister her entire life about the fact that she looked nothing like me or our father. I always made "you're adopted" jokes, and she'd respond, "Perfect. That means I'm not actually related to you." My parents kind of frowned upon it because they thought it was mean. A couple of years ago, I accidentally found out that my sister was actually the product of a short-lived affair. My dad accepted her as his own, and my parents kept it a secret from everyone. They finally told her the truth last year. I still make "maybe you're adopted" jokes, but now they're 100 times funnier. When I was 5 years old, I remember going to a wedding reception for one of my friend's older sisters. I vaguely recall that it was scandalous because she was young, 18, just graduated from high school, and he was much older. That's all I knew, and it rarely came up in conversation with my friend or their family. 10 years later, I'm in high school on the debate team, casually chatting with the coach about random stuff when we start talking about the team before he was coach. He told me that the previous coach was kicked out for having a relationship with one of the students on the team. He mentioned the names, and my jaw hit the floor. That was the wedding reception I had attended.